ist mir in den Sinn gekommen, dass ich mal einen Nachhilfeschüler hatte, der war Zimmermann und der ist 3-mal vom Dach gefallen, zum Glück ohne Probleme, und der wurde jedes Mal besser in Mathe. Jetzt weiß ich nicht, ob es wegen mir war oder ob er da Dinge neu sortiert hat, aber es geht ihm gut. Wir wechseln nun die Branche, wir gehen in die Fashion-Branche, wir wechseln die Sprache. We do the next session in English and we change the medium. We're very happy to have the next speaker with us via Zoom. So great to have you. The next speaker is Francesca Rosella. She's co-founder and chief creative officer from CuteCircuit, and she speaks about Wearable Metaverse, a SoundShirt. So Francesca, we're happy to have you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here and hope everyone can hear me well. And today I'll bring you on a bit of a journey through what we think is the wearable metaverse. And CuteCircuit started back in 2004, and we've been doing fashion wearable technology ever since. And one thing that I think is really interesting about this is that we've been doing garments that are very visual, very fashionable. And the aim of creating all these garments is that we want to connect people on an emotional level. And so we want people to sort of have an icebreaker when they meet and get together and discuss and become friends and communicate. And so we do 3 different collections, and some of these are sort of like ready to wear and red carpet garments that can be controlled with a mobile app so that visuals can change and fans can send tweets to a celebrity's garment. And we've been doing this like for many, many years, and they're in museums all over the world now. But the thing that I really want to focus on today is how do we bring our senses into the metaverse? And another thing that we work on at CuteCircuit is wearable technologies such as the hug shirts and the sound shirts. And all of these are garments that allow people to exchange the sensation of touch over distance. And so I'll have here some of my favorite quotes. And this one is like from Marshall McLuhan, and basically this says that touch is not just skin contact, but is the life of things in the mind. Because if you can experience something to touch, it means that one can really feel it. And basically, the first garment we ever did that was about touch was the hug shirt. And basically, it's a t-shirt that allows you to touch someone over distance by squeezing sensors in the garment. And the sensors pick up the touch of the wearer, and then this data goes Bluetooth into a phone, and the app transforms this into touch data. And when the person on the other part of the planet receives this hug message, they will physically feel the touch being actuated through micro vibration motors and heating pads. And we've been doing this like for many, many years, and it was awarded as one of the best inventions of the year by Time magazine. And one of the things that happened that was very interesting is that every time we create this garment, they sort of start a whole requests from many different people in many different fields, and that pushes us to innovate forward, because we sometimes create a product and think, okay, we're just going to send touch because we want to make everybody happy. But then at the same time, someone else comes along and asks us, well, but we learned that haptics they can be used for many different things, and they can really make you experience the world in a different way. And so basically, we were asked by an orchestra just like about 5 years ago if we could use the hug shirts to let deaf people feel music through touch sensations. And all these things I like about touch, people say, oh, why did you start investigating touch? But basically, touch is what makes our world make sense. Because, for example, if I touch the tip of my nose, I know that I exist. But all of this doesn't happen in virtual reality, because you can see things, you can interact with things by using hand gestures, but you cannot really feel that this touch has actually made something happen. And this is because it doesn't really affect the primary somatosensory cortex that much. So I think that what we're trying to recreate is like trying to bring real reality into virtual and augmented reality so that people can be more immersed. And I'm going to show you a video now, because one of the things that I think is more interesting about creating sensations that are not just visual or hearing, they're also more inclusive. Because, for example, we were able to bring a device like the hug shirt that can be used by anyone of any age to actually include deaf people into a concert. So I think that inclusivity is one of the things that is really missing from virtual reality right now. And it's something that is not being discussed very often. And I think it's just really important that we make sure that more and more people can access different communication media. And so this is the SoundShirt that is like winner of a number of awards from AWE biggest societal impact. It also received a UNESCO NetExplo award. And as a descendant of the hug shirt, it also received a Time Best Invention of the Year just 2 years ago. So it seems that somehow we are doing something interesting here. And one of the things that I actually nobody always imagines possible is that these garments actually have no wires inside. So we managed to develop a technology that feels good to wear, and it also does something good for the wearer. And I'll show you now this video.
Music should be for everyone. Introducing this SoundShirt, a wearable device that enables the deaf to experience a concert through touch sensations. After 6 months of development, we put it to the test. This is how it works. Microphones all over the stage cover the different types of instruments. A software converts the sound into data and sends it to the shirt, where 16 vibration motors pulsate with the intensity of the music. For example, the bass on the stomach and the violins along the arms. Several deaf people tested the shirt, and their reactions speak for themselves. The SoundShirt, now available at the Young Symphonic Orchestra of Hamburg.
And one of the things that's interesting, actually, that this was like right before the pandemic started, and all of a sudden, all the concerts were canceled. And so we had to rethink our strategy. And I'm really happy to say that I'm showing you on this screen the latest version of our software for orchestra. And we were actually able to start shipping again about a month ago the new SoundShirts that we had to completely redesign because during the pandemic, all the microchips disappeared because they were not being manufactured anymore. So we redesigned the product during the pandemic, and now it's much better than before. And we just started shipping to other orchestras like the Lyric Orchestra in Chicago and the City of Asylum in Pittsburgh. So I think it's really interesting that somehow we had this big stop during the pandemic, but then we came back and now we can do even more amazing things with this garment. So I'll go very quickly through this. And we also work with the London Symphony, and it's just fantastic. And I told you a little bit more about the construction earlier, but I think that everything about the garments like to convey the sensation that there is like sound waves happening. And I mean, we worked with these lovely deaf girls, and they were just like, their life was just so much happier afterwards, and they were able to go clubbing with their friends. So I think that we are bringing all the findings of just going through all these like remote touch and working with the orchestras in sort of like bringing these two garments back together into one application. And what happened during the pandemic is that while we were not doing these concerts anymore, we created a medical version of the HugShirt and SoundShirt combined that works with an app. And so we were able to send these to care homes and hospitals. And we worked with the elderly, and they were able to hug their families that were really far away. So I think that we are sort of like creating a product for augmented and virtual reality. And then at the same time, we're using it to bring people closer together in real life. And I think that's like one of the most interesting things for me. And all these hack projects, you can actually see it online. So I'm not going to go through it because we're very short on time. But the stories are really beautiful. And we were able to reunite families that really hadn't seen each other for a year and a half due to all these like pandemic isolation for the immunocompromised. And we got some incredible research data from care homes in which the reduction of the loneliness index was about like 64%. So we were like actually receiving this data from the National Health Service here in the UK because we did a pilot project with the city of Liverpool, and we were just absolutely astonished with the results. And we will keep working on this, and we will let you know more about what happens in the future. And also, like some people say, oh, what does the app look like? And this is what the app looks like. We are able to do both sounds and hugs in real time, and we're also using it for. And so we're also able to use this for video games and all the other applications so that we can bring together people that are deaf also with people that are hearing, and everybody can feel included into an experience. And I'm just going to skip forward on this. And I'm basically done with this. And so the idea is that we just wear all mankind as our skin. This was a prediction by Marshall McLuhan in 1964. And I think that now we have technologies that allow us to do this. And this is my favorite slogan, feel the force. And thank you for inviting me here today. And if you want to get in touch, very easy to find. We are at CuteCircuit and both on Instagram and Twitter. And you can follow us and see what we do on a day-to-day basis as we restart all our activities for social good with the HugShirts and SoundShirts. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Francesca. I hope you heard your applause.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
You did. And what I noticed is people first need time to understand what exactly you're doing. And then suddenly we get it that you're entering a completely different dimension of use cases. So I find it very interesting. I'd love to answer just two of the questions, or to ask you of the questions we had. Is there a version just using local microphones? So do you need that big setup with the orchestra that you showed, or are there smaller versions?
Yes, so it works actually with my phone. I have an app here. Basically, the app, we can use any microphone on the phone. So if even a person that just wants to watch a movie at home can activate the phone microphone, just put the phone by the TV, and their SoundShirt will just start to activate by capturing the sounds in the environment. And this is actually one of the features that we have developed for the deaf community, because they can be environmentally aware as they walk down the street, and then we just figure out it works for everyone. So I think it's interesting to design for inclusivity, opens up more possibilities.
Then someone is asking, can you buy this? So maybe you can even make a little commercial. Is that available also for small amounts?
It actually is available online on our website. We actually, right now, we have a pre-order button just because we ran out. So just be patient. They will be back in stock eventually. And but yeah, they are on CuteCircuit.com. So yeah, we have both the SoundShirt and the HugShirt. The difference between these two is that one has more actuators and one has less, and also has touch sensors. So really, they have two different price points, but it really is just because they're using the same modular technology, but one we are using for more complex events like games and concerts, and the other one is really just to do one-to-one hugs or listening and feeling music.
Excellent. Last question from my side. Where did your passion start? Was it fashion? Was it more social aspects? Was it technology? How do you come to such an idea?
Well, it started actually when I met my co-founder Ryan, and we met in 2001 in a research institute about interaction design. And he actually has an anthropology background, and he was working as interface designer. And I have an architecture background, but I was working as a fashion designer. And we were both interested in seeing what would happen with technology on the body and how people could, because people use their clothes to communicate, and what would happen if the clothes were enhanced with some kind of technology. And the first thing we designed together was the hug shirt. And we designed it in response to a workshop that was entitled Designing Something Desirable. And so we interviewed users and we said, what if you could wish for something right now, what would you wish for? And everybody wanted to be hugged because they were coming from all over the world and miss their families. And so that's what brought us to design all these other wearables, because we really wanted to make sure that people could be connected.
Thank you very much, Francesca. Unfortunately, I cannot not hug you now because you're not here, but it was a pleasure to have you, and I wish you all the very best with your beautiful idea. Thank you, Francesca.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.